Taste this one thing the moment your eyes open, a single small sip, and notice the subtle hum behind your forehead, as if something in the center of you woke up and answered. That's the promise behind this practice. A simple, safe, edible anchor you take upon waking that helps you shift your inner frequency and makes a subtle, subjective sensation in the pineal or third eye area much more likely to register. I'm not asking you to accept a belief system right now. I'm asking you to try one tiny, practical thing with intention and attention and notice what answers. Most of us have been trained to pray like beggars. We stand outside the door of what we want, and we pound the handle asking permission. That posture shapes us. It programs our nervous system to wait, to hope, to plead. The problem is not prayer itself. Prayer is a human capacity, but the posture we adopt when we pray. If every petition begins from a position of lack, our interior circuitry learns to expect lack. The ritual I'll teach you does 3 radical things. It reorients your felt identity. It recovers a posture of authority inside you, and it gives you a concise, repeatable verbal command that aligns your intention with the highest source you recognize. In the language I'll use here, which is interpretive and experiential, not dogma, that source is called the monad. If this word resonates with you, use it. If you prefer another name, use what fits. The practice will work the same way. Before you try anything, 2 practical notes. First, pick a gentle morning anchor you can safely ingest. My recommended default is 1 small sip of warm water with a light squeeze of lemon and a pinch of salt, or a half teaspoon of raw cacao stirred in if you want a touch of grounding bitterness. If you avoid citrus, choose plain warm water. If you're allergic or vegan and prefer something solid, a small piece of fruit or a teaspoon of honey are simple options. The point is not the chemistry. It's the sensory focus, a warm, intentional taste as you bring attention into your body. Second, this is an experiential practice. It does not replace medical, psychological, or legal advice. If you have health concerns, consult a professional. Do not abandon prescribed treatments because of what you feel here. Now breathe with me for a moment and imagine waking. The room is familiar. Your mind is already running through the day. Against that background of habit, place the small cup to your lips. Take 1 intentional sip. Let the flavor, the warmth, the texture be an anchor. Let your body register that you have done something different. That first tiny taste is a key. It's the physical thread that lets you move your attention from autopilot into the center of your field. Let me give you the frame behind this work because context matters. There's a storyline running through many spiritual traditions where human beings are more than mere bodies and more than mere minds. In one interpretive map I use, you are a spark of the original source, the monad, enclosed within a body and a field of illusion. That field contains forces and patterns, sometimes called the demiurge and the archontes in esoteric language, that keep attention diverted and prompt you to behave like someone who needs permission. Those terms are schematic. They're not required vocabulary. Think of them simply as metaphors for the forces, cultural, psychological, energetic, that maintain life as usual. When Jesus stood at a tomb and called Lazarus back into life, what you see is an act of restoration. What was intended to be living was returned to livingness. I use that image not to recast theology, but to suggest the deeper movement at work. A recovery of original design. Miracles in this frame are not rule-breaking anomalies. They are restorations of an original pattern. This practice is built on 3 keys. Learn these in order and you will have a framework you can use anytime, not just in the morning anchor. Recognition. This is not a doctrinal assent. Recognition is a visceral remembering. It's a felt return to who you actually are beneath the narratives of lack. Instead of thinking, I should be something else, recognition is a physical shift. You feel the center of your being, you register a quiet authority in the chest, and you know, for a few breath cycles, that you are a living spark of the source. Authority. Most of us give our authority away. Authority is different from arrogance. It's the sober, quiet right to speak into your field and expect the field to answer. It's how Jesus acted with presence in the stories, a clarity that did not beg. To access authority, drop the language of begging in your own mind. Stand, sit, or lie with your spine aligned, chest open, breath steady. Let your voice come from the chest. Carry your words like a covenant, not a plea. Command. This is the verbal protocol, brief, declarative, present tense, that issues your intention clearly. A command in this sense is not aggression. It's an alignment. It is concise and unambiguous. It moves energy because it is anchored by recognition and carried by authority. The practice I'll give you includes a short operative invocation. Use it exactly as offered the first few times so you can assess the felt effect for yourself. Those 3 keys, recognition, authority, command, form the skeleton of the ritual. Now let me show you the full practical walkthrough you can use starting tomorrow morning. Set an intention tonight. When you wake, you will try this. Put your cup on the nightstand so you don't reach for your phone first. That small structural change is the beginning. On waking, before you scroll and before you check messages, reach for your anchor. Take 1 deliberate sip. Keep the eyes closed if it helps. Let the warmth or taste create a circuit. Mouth, throat, chest. That's the sensory anchor. Now move through the 5-step sequence I'll name and guide you through. Disconnect, descent, resonance, command, release. Disconnect. This is a gentle cut, not an aggressive denial, from the river of anxious thought. As soon as you sip, give your attention the instruction. Not now. Picture your thoughts as a news ticker on a wall that you can turn away from. You do not try to suppress the thoughts. You simply refuse to feed them with attention. If images rise, to-do lists, worries, let them pass like clouds. This step is essential because the noise of anxiety will drown the subtle shift you are inviting. Descent. Imagine an elevator that carries your attention down from the busy control room of the head into the deeper chamber at the heart. Visualize the elevator lowering slowly from forehead to chest. Feel the weight of your breath moving into the sternum. Physically soften your shoulders. Let your jaw unclench. The descent is anatomical and imaginal. You are literally moving your locus of awareness from head to heart. Stay there with 2 or 3 slow, full breaths. Resonance. In this step, you allow the chest to become a sounding board. Breathe into the heart center and allow a slight vocalization, an ah or an to vibrate in the chest. You don't have to sing. Just find the tone that hums in the bones. Imagine a warm, golden presence pooling in the center of your chest, a settling like honey. Let the vibration be felt in the upper abdomen and across the sternum. This resonance is the bridge between the felt self and the word you will speak. Command. With recognition settled and authority embodied, speak the invocation out loud, from the chest. The operative line I give you is precise. Say it clearly, without apology, letting your voice resonate low in the body. The words are, monad, I am here. I reclaim the authority that is mine by nature. The illusion of limitation dissolves. Alignment is commanded. It is done. Say it 1 time slowly. If it feels right, you may repeat it a 2nd time, but don't transform it into a chant. The power comes from the embodied state that precedes the words. As you speak, feel the vibration move from chest up through the throat and into the center behind the eyes. Don't analyze the feeling, note it. Some people report a subtle buzzing, a warmth, a clarity in the forehead. Subjective sensations that may be experienced as a vibration in the pineal. Others feel calm neutrality or a soft expansion. All are valid. Release. This is the most counterintuitive step for many. After you issue the command, do not watch or obsess over the outcome. Release your grip. Return your attention to ordinary life. Let the words do the work you spoke. Trust that the field has registered. If doubt arises, treat it the way you would a mosquito. Acknowledge and let it pass. Releasing is a form of faith that does not cling. You have done your part. Your nervous system will now recalibrate if it is going to. Before I move on to signs to watch for and how to handle interference, I want to give you one small, practical invitation. Try this ritual tomorrow morning. After you perform it, come back to this video and comment one short phrase in the comments. I activate the monad. That will be the single early comment I ask for, a sign that you took the practice into the day. If you prefer a different phrase, I stand in alignment works too. Leave only one of those statements as your comment and then go about your day. Keep the rest of the comments for questions later. Now, what might you expect? There are 3 broad categories of early signs that indicate the call is moving in your field. Learn them not as promises but as interpretive cues. Collapse. This is a word for sudden clearing. Sometimes when an interior pattern shifts, part of the outer life that was dependent on the old pattern loosens or disintegrates. That could mean an old project loses momentum, a relationship becomes uncomfortable, or a habitual anxiety softens in a way that feels destabilizing in the short term. Collapse is not catastrophic. It is the demolition of what was built on misalignment. If collapse happens, hold steady. Do not panic. Be practical. Attend to safety, maintain commitments, and seek counsel if the change affects your well-being or responsibilities. Echo. This is synchronicity. Small, uncanny confirmations may appear. A phrase in a book, an unexpected call, a pattern of repeated numbers. These echoes are not proof in the rational sense but can be affirming. Notice them with gratitude, not addiction. Let echoes encourage you without turning into dependence on external validation. Neutrality. Perhaps the clearest and most reliable sign is a shift toward inner detente, a quiet center from which you can observe without reactivity. Neutrality is not numbness. It's a steadiness that does not need to manipulate outcomes. If you feel neutral in a new way, that is a good indicator the call is taking hold. Obstacles will come. The mind will generate resistance. I call some of these patterns psychic antibodies, the default defenses that respond when you try to change the system. Anxiety spikes, intrusive doubt, or a sudden flurry of busyness designed to distract you are common. The remedy for interference is simple and practical. Return to the anchor. Again, sip the warm water or fruit, breathe into the chest, and issue the command once more from the embodied place. Don't enter a debate with the noise. Treat it as static on a radio and retune. A few safety and doctrinal clarifications. When I use terms like monad, demiurge, archontes, pneumatic, and helic, I am offering interpretive frames, not making exclusive theological claims. Here are one-line glosses so the vocabulary is clear. Monad, the original source or vital spark within you. Demiurge, a metaphor for the architect of the visible order who may keep attention focused on the surface. Archontes, symbolic descriptions of systemic patterns that maintain limitation. Pneumatic, a term for the spirit-led, heart-centered human who resonates with the source. Helic, a term for those oriented primarily to material life. These are lenses, not laws. If the language feels foreign, you can translate monad simply as source, God, presence, or whatever word locates the highest identity you recognize. I also want to be explicit about what this method is not. It is not a promise of guaranteed physical healing, financial windfalls, or miraculous intervention in the legal or medical sense. Do not treat it as a substitute for professional care, medical, psychological, or legal. If you are under a doctor's care, continue to follow medical advice. If an emergency arises, attend to it. This practice is an experiential technique for shifting internal posture and habit. Outcomes vary. The line I require you to remember is this. This is an experiential practice. It does not replace medical, psychological, or legal advice. Now let's walk through several live scenarios so you know how to apply the practice in real life. If you wake up feeling anxious about a job interview, start with your anchor. Sip, disconnect from the looping thoughts, descend into the chest, find resonance with 2 slow hums, and then speak the invocation with the physicality of authority. Release. Go prepare practically for the interview. The ritual is not magic that removes preparation. It's a realignment that will change how you show up. If an old relationship pattern surfaces and you feel pulled into drama, use the anchor to give yourself space. The collapse sign might show up as the relationship recalibrating because the old dynamic could no longer stand when you shifted. That doesn't mean leaving abruptly or being reckless. It means you may need to set healthier boundaries, seek counsel, and handle practical matters with care. Restoration often unfolds in practical steps, not theatrical gestures. If you experiment and feel nothing at all, that's okay. Some people notice immediate sensations. Others report subtler shifts over days or weeks. Your nervous system has its own tempo. Repetition matters more than intensity. Try the practice for a week with intention. Keep a simple log. Every morning note whether you felt anything, a hum, a clarity, a neutral calm, and any small synchronicities that occur during the day. Over time, patterns will emerge. A note on the language of authority. Beware of adopting a tone that seeks to dominate others. The authority I'm naming is inward. It does not license coercion, manipulation, or disregard for the well-being of others. When you claim authority, you claim the right to steward your own interior field responsibly. You are not authorized to control other people's will. This practice is about reclaiming the sovereignty of your inner life. Many of you will ask about the pineal gland and physiology. I will be clear. I am not making medical claims about the pineal's anatomy or function. When I use the phrase, "feel your pineal gland vibrate," I am describing a subjective, energetic sensation commonly reported as a subtle vibration or pressure behind the forehead or between the eyes. Call it a felt activation, a forehead warmth, a third eye sensitivity. These descriptions point to experience, not an anatomical diagnosis. If you are curious about physiology, consult scientific sources. For the purpose of spiritual practice, language like third eye and pineal help people track subjective states across traditions. You may worry. Does this method contradict Scripture? I encourage honest engagement. The Bible is rich with images of authority and restoration. Many passages show figures acting from a grounded inner authority, and Jesus' interactions demonstrate a sovereign presence that changes circumstances. The Lazarus story, for instance, is an image of restoration. Life returned to what it was meant to be. Interpretive frameworks like the ones I've used here are not meant to replace faith traditions, but to offer a language for interior experience. Use what helps you draw closer to the life you were made for. Let me close this section with practical troubleshooting. If you try the ritual and your mind erupts with doubt, don't fight. Label it doubt and return to the anchor. If your body feels jittery, slow down the breath and soften the tone you use. If you're in a public space and can't speak the invocation out loud, whisper it, or speak it silently while maintaining the chest resonance. The crucial elements are the descent and the embodied tone that carries the words. In many cases, the body's resonance will register even if the words are inaudible. A few testimonies, anonymized and framed as examples, may clarify how this shows up. One person trying the practice for 10 days reported that a long-standing creative block eased. Ideas returned with less mental terror. Another said that following the call, a pattern of reactive behavior with a family member cooled down. The person could respond rather than react. Neither story is a guarantee. Both are ways the interior shift translated into life. I want to offer a short evening preparation you can use so the morning ritual lands more easily. Before you sleep, set the intention. I will open to the anchor when I wake. Put a glass of warm water by your bed. If you are comfortable, whisper or think one line that orients you. I will remember. That simple act primes the nervous system to attend. Do not sleep with anxious rumination. Do something practical that helps you let go. Write a short list of 3 realistic priorities for tomorrow, then close the page. Simplicity helps the morning circuit. Remember the 3 keys again as you practice over time. Recognition, a felt remembering of who you are. Authority, the sober posture from which you speak. Command, the clear, declarative phrase that aligns intent with source. Practice them with humility and curiosity. You are training your nervous system as much as you are training your spirit. At this point, you have everything you need to try it tomorrow. A chosen anchor, the 5-step sequence, the invocation, and the instruction to release. One more time, here is the operative invocation to use out loud, from the chest. After you have descended and established resonance. Monad, I am here. I reclaim the authority that is mine by nature. The illusion of limitation dissolves. Alignment is commanded. It is done. Say it once. Breathe. Then release. A final set of cautions and invitations. This material sits at the edge between prophetic encouragement and practical neuroscience. It is not an invitation to abandon care, to manipulate outcomes, or to adopt a posture of spiritual superiority. It is an invitation to reclaim the dignity of your interior life and to practice speaking into the field you inhabit. If a friend or family member is skeptical, do not argue. Let your life be the demonstration. If the practice stirs deeper wounds, consider bringing the experience into therapy or spiritual direction. There is grace in integrating inner work with wise counsel. If you resonated with this, try the ritual tomorrow. After you complete it, leave one short comment on this video. I activate the monad. That tells me you tried the practice and anchors a community of experimenters without turning the comment stream into debate. If you want more, subscribe for a short series where I unbundle variations of this protocol, different anchors, breath patterns, and words to match different temperaments, and we'll explore how to apply the 3 keys in daily scenarios with integrity and care. No pressure. This is offer, not demand. We live in a time when many systems encourage us to be small. This practice is a simple corrective, a small, safe action that reteaches your body to answer from the inside out. Taste your chosen anchor on waking. Remember who you are. Carry your authority softly. Speak the concise command. Release. Watch for collapse, echo, and neutrality. Above all, be gentle with yourself as you learn a new language of interior sovereignty. Tomorrow morning, when you meet the day and bring a warm sip to your lips, say the words with a steady chest. Then go live your ordinary life with the extraordinary dignity of someone who has remembered a deeper alignment. This is the work. Try it. If you did it, leave the comment. I activate the monad. If you'd like to go deeper, subscribe and join a small community where we practice these activations together. May your waking be a doorway. May your voice find its center. May the small sip open a larger remembering.